So here we go. Third round is underway from Tucson.
Temple starts in the man-to-man. Aaron Brown matched up against Kawhi Leonard.
Here's DJ Gay, the finest point guards in college basketball. Malcolm Thomas is down low. Working on Allen, picked up by Allen. And for the first time, here come the Owls. The kid with it right now, Juan Fernandez, at the game-winning shot the other afternoon. Pick and pop try. And Fernandez.
Let's see if Temple can try to establish LaVoy Allen early down in the low post, something they kind of went away from on Thursday against Penn State.
LaVoy Allen, such an important part of this team. Here's a little shot by Ramon Moore, who's a junior out of Philadelphia. He is the only Owl to start every game this season.
That's just what Reggie was talking about. Temple doing a nice job working the ball around, working the shot clock, playing the patient off-court offense.
Kawhi Leonard up. Ball was tipped. That's why there was no violation. And back on top they go.
Now Aaron Brown is 6'5", and he is not nearly the physical specimen that Allen is.
Gay is inside, and he lofts that up and over and into Rozier Jefferson.
Well, if you're Steve Fisher, that's a welcome sight for DJ Gay, who's really struggled with his outside shot as of recent, especially in that game on Thursday. But tonight, did a good job of getting into the lane finishing.
Moore takes it right to the rack. And he gets his second basket, so he started 2 of 2.
Steve Fisher was concerned about their ability to penetrate.
Billy White has the ball. He has been emerging as a very viable player on this team over the last handful of games. Malcolm Thomas struggled the other afternoon and finds a double team inside.
Defensive rebound is going to be so key for the Temple Owls. They really got to get to the athletic front court players of San Diego State. So far, LaVoy Allen doing a good job.
Aaron Brown with that miss. Gay will take it in, bumping into Fernandez. And that's a foul called on Juan Fernandez. He has been battling a bad left knee. Looks like he also may have taken something below the belt. He'll pick up the foul. That's the first on Juan Fernandez from Argentina.
Well, you know, DJ Gay is going to use his speed against Juan Fernandez, who goes about 6'4". And at the other end, Juan Fernandez is going to try to post up DJ Gay, very much like he did Taylor Battle and Tim Frazier of Penn State.
Gay is a senior out of Sun Valley, California. And Dan, they've got him listed as one of the top 10 finalists for the Cousy Award, the Bob Cousy Award, going to the best point guard in college basketball.
This guy has some incredible numbers. He's played over 1,200 minutes this year, but he only has 29 personal fouls.
That's amazing.
During the course of the season, he played 177 consecutive minutes of game action without a turnover, so he definitely is one of the top guards in the country.
And he's a 2-year starter.
Well, a 2-year starter, but when he came to San Diego State, they had him playing shooting guard. He's converted to the point guard position. Something that was supposed to be a weak spot for the Aztecs this year.
Here's LaVoy Allen to Brown and back to Allen, who gets us over Thomas. And this is where the Aztecs are so deadly. Chase Tapley takes it the other way. And Gay once again. Fernandez is 6'4". Gay is 6 foot tall.
Yeah, Gay's a little quicker, though, so Fernandez is going to have to back off a little bit. Gay may have some opportunities to shoot the three.
Kawhi Leonard. White pulls it down, reaching in. They can't jar it free. And finally, the Owls come up with it. And LaVoy Allen with the rebound. He's got 2 rebounds.
Really love what the Owls are doing at the defensive end on the defensive rebounding.
Here comes White with all that speed, galloping into the defense of LaVoy Allen. The first 2 for Billy White, who is a senior from Las Vegas.
And that's the way San Diego State wants to run. They want to force you into tough shots or turn you over. And when they do that, they're deadly in the fast break.
And that's something you're going to see, too. You're going to see Billy White. You're going to see Kawhi Leonard. Even Malcolm Thomas being able to run that break for the Aztecs.
Chase Tapley just picked up a foul. And that is his first, sophomore from Sacramento. They're going to bring in James Rahan.
Reggie, and you're absolutely right. This is where San Diego State is most dangerous. Any of their big guys, their 3 starting big guys, can run the break and either pass or finish. They're amazing passers. That kind of versatility is just hard to guard. Both teams staying in the man-to-man so far.
Moore He's got 6.
Remember, he had 17 in the second half on Thursday, so he's picking up right where he left off.
Remember, it was Juan Fernandez in the first half and Ramon Moore in the second half against Penn State.
Khalif White is checked in for Temple. And it's inside by Billy White. They called him the X Factor the other day at practice. He can do a lot of things. He's an interesting player.
Well, Dan, remember in that game on Thursday with San Diego State, they almost went 10 minutes without an offensive rebound, something that they thought they were going to have greater success against Northern Colorado. They picked it up in the second half. So far, Penn State doing a good job of putting bodies on bodies.
White on the perimeter was working. Carwell had just checked in for the Aztecs. Great atmosphere here in Tucson. The third round.
Back in Tucson, and for San Diego State, coming in as a 2 seed, Steve Fisher knows the expectations for this team are very high. But keep in mind, this is a team that is just 2 days removed from its first NCAA tournament win in school history. Fisher said, hey, we want to continue to play in the pursuit of moving on and doing what everybody aspires to do. When you close your eyes, when you're the little guy, you dream about what you hope to accomplish. He said, at this stage, when you lose, it is devastating, guys.
Thank you, Sam. Here is LaVoy Allen outside with the rebound taken down by Kawhi Leonard. He'll race the other way and ahead to Carwell. The Illinois transfer who's battled so much off the court. He's got his first 2. He is a big body inside.
Well, 2 great things on that. First of all, your big center running down the middle of the floor. Carwell, excellent job. But how about Kawhi Leonard looking ahead, trusting in his bigs and those hands.
Wyatt and Allen over Carwell, who came out to guard him.
It's going to be hard for Carwell to guard Allen away from the basket. But I think if you're San Diego State, you don't mind if Allen is going to go that far from the basket all the time.
Just finishing up on what Sam was talking about, this San Diego State team was ranked in the top 25 all season long. There's a traveling violation. So, Dan, they were getting a lot of notoriety, a lot of attention, Steve Fisher's team was, the entire season from the opening of camp right on through these tournament games.
And that's what's the good and bad about this NCAA tournament. It's very exciting, but if you have the kind of year that they have and you lost, all of a sudden now, boom, Reggie, it's over, and you're very disappointed.
Well, I think the San Diego State team was a little bit too overhyped. I think that's why there were some early substitutions by Steve Fisher. I think these guys are a little bit too amped up. And sometimes when you get too far ahead of yourself, you got Kawhi Leonard got taken out, Malcolm Thomas, just to calm down a little bit, let the game come to it. Leonard comes back in and makes an excellent play on rebounding and finding Carwell.
Now, everybody, you're right, Reggie. It's not just Steve Fisher who knows what's at stake here. All the players, they want to keep this going, and so they are a little anxious, but looks like they've calmed down now.
Well, I'll tell you what, there'll be 67 teams that will be disappointed that they lost at the end of this tournament. There's only one team that's going to be raising the trophy at the end of the day.
Rayhan missing right there. Moments before Jefferson picked up his first personal foul for the Aztecs, and that's out of bounds. A turnover right there. Steve Fisher, we just saw him now in his 12th season with this Aztec program. Before he arrived, they had 13 non-winning seasons in the previous 14 years. In year 3, after he was an assistant with the Sacramento Kings of the NBA, and that, of course, came after he had that long tenure with the University of Michigan, where he won a Final Four in '89 and a championship in that season with the Wolverines, played in 2 more Final Fours with the Fab Five. He went to the NCAAs in his 3rd season with San Diego State. Now in their 2nd straight season. Kawhi Leonard.
First of all, Aaron Brown doing an excellent job defensively, but Leonard rushing things a little bit too much here offensively down on the post.
Fernandez works into White. Now here's Ramon Moore. And Moore has started the game with 6 points. A screen from Allen. And a feed. Here comes DJ Gay. So Fernandez no longer on game. They've got some different defensive people on. Like Jefferson. Here's a 3, and it's put on. And right through the net by James Rayhan, sophomore from San Diego.
They didn't switch defensive assignments. That was a tough shot by LaVoy Allen. That allowed San Diego State to get down quickly, and they really created some mismatch.
Fernandez can't hit. And saved by Leonard, but it goes right back to Temple and tossed in right there by Brown, who's got his first two. Steve Fisher, and a heavy collision moments ago with Kawhi Leonard chasing him into the bench.
Well, if you're Leonard and you feel that you can't secure the basketball, you might as well just let it go out. You're just throwing it back in blindly right into Temple's hands.
Here's Billy White. And Jefferson defending. And Brown.
That's a great defensive job by Jefferson.
Moore defended by Leonard.
See, this is what they don't want. If they have a fast break, Kevin, they will take it. But if they don't have the fast break, they're going to take it out and they're going to run their offense.
Fernandez for three. That was over Billy White. And the guy that hit the game-winning shot the other afternoon has his first basket today.
And you're going to see a lot of switching in these pick-and-roll situations with San Diego State as DJ Gay comes right back and answers that three for Juan Fernandez. A lot of switching by San Diego State. We saw this a lot when their matchups with BYU and Jimmer Fredette.
Gay's already got 7.
Gay's been in a shooting slump, but you can't tell. There's no evidence of that so far this afternoon.
And he goes inside to Lavoy out. And picked up with a foul inside. Grabbing it was Jefferson. And he was shoved inside. The foul goes on Carwell for the first time. A good-looking three and a fine stroke by the Argentinian junior for Temple. Ramon Moore on Thursday against Penn State was 10 of 16, a terrific game. In the first 8.5 minutes, Dan, of this game this afternoon, he has started 3 of 3.
Now, we talked about Ramon Moore before the game, and his offense is critical, and he's shown us his ability to drive to the basket and to shoot the mid-range shot. He can shoot the three, and he's really able to operate off the dribble. They're going to have to contain him. If he gets 23 again, Reggie, I think San Diego State's in trouble.
So far, Reg, Temple has started 46% from the field. San Diego State, 5 of 14 shooting.
Yeah, but what I like, though, has been the pace. The pace has been to Temple's pace. They're not there in the fast break situation. They've really been slowing it down, running their offense.
Braleer Jefferson at the free throw line. Every tournament game is live online on your iPhone or iPad with NCAA March Madness on demand. For details, go to mmod.ncaa.com.
Thus far early on in this first half, Leonard and White of San Diego State 1 of 7 from the field combined.
Tim Shelton has checked in for the first time for the Aztecs. They come in 33 and 2. Temple comes in 26 and 7. Malcolm Thomas, DJ Gay, Rayhan. Shot clock is down to single digits. Gay for 3. Thomas couldn't get the ball. Out of bounds it goes off of Temple. And so a new possession for the Aztecs.
Well, for the Owls, they've done a great job in this first half of gang rebounding. Lavoy Allen doing a good job of keeping Thomas off, but that's when you need your guards to come back in the action and help rebound.
Yeah, Thomas was blocked out, but he still got his hand on the ball, and as a result, the Aztecs get it, but they turn it over.
Jefferson defending on Shelton, so the turnover right there.
Well, now look, Braleer Jefferson, we just saw him make 1 of 2 for the Temple Owls, but he's already got 4 rebounds in the game, and his defense is going to be a big key as Rayhan goes to the bench.
Khalif Wyatt is in. This is Juan Fernandez. Also out there is Lavoy Allen. Braleer Jefferson. They're coming off the screen. Moore with the ball right now.
That's a nice job by Tapley to keep him out of the lane.
Still penetration by Moore. Saved by Gay. He'll take it the other way. 10.5 to play in the first half here from Tucson. Little hold on the outside portion. It was Wyatt who picks up the foul for Temple. Making Fernandez. Fernandez picks up his second personal foul.
Now Fran Duffy looks like he's going to put TJ DeLeo back in the ball game, and what a blow here for Fran Duffy and the Temple Owls.
TJ DeLeo's dad was a one-time Their basketball coach for the Philadelphia 76ers, now manned by Doug Collins. A lot of people think might be the pro coach of the year in the NBA. What a terrific job he's done with the 76ers. And here comes Thomas. Well, look at the switching. Reggie just talked about this. The switching is very impressive for Temple. Thomas inside. But the Aztecs can switch as well. Versatile teams defensively.
You're right, Kevin. They're very versatile teams. The guards can defend against big guys inside, particularly on the Temple end. And the big guys can guard out on the perimeter. Not for long, Reggie, but they can manage for a couple of dribbles.
Well, I love the dribble handoff running clock here by the Temple Owls.
This is the kind of pace they want to have. And, of course, San Diego State wants to run. In transition, they go inside. There was a feed, and they were aiming up high for Lavoy Allen on the feed by Wyatt. And a foul called on Shelton of San Diego State, his first.
There was not a lot of room here, and I think that's sort of an optimistic play if you're trying to throw that against San Diego State with their length and athleticism in there. Shelton, just a little late coming over, gets the foul. That really was not a very well thrown ball. They were fortunate to get to the line.
Allen's got 5 rebounds at the line right now. If you'd like to make a donation to help the ongoing relief effort for this disaster in Japan, log on to cnn.com/impact.
San Diego State only 31% from the field thus far here in this first half. Give a lot of credit here to Fran Duffy's Temple Owls. Really doing a good job of pressuring the points here of DJ Gay, making it frustrating for Kawhi Leonard, the leading scorer on this Aztec team.
Leonard will take it inside. He was being defended by Ramon Moore.
Well, another thing, Reggie, that Temple's doing very well is they're playing very efficiently on offense. If they don't take bad shots and they don't turn it over, they force San Diego State to play against their set half-court defense, and that's a chore.
So Leonard is 0-2 in his start.
Leonard looks a little tired to me.
Really?
Yeah, he looks tired to me while he's out there. He's taking deep breaths. Instant offense. Chase Tapley gets his first 3 to go today.
Well, you know, that could be some nervousness and excitement, too. If you're all fired up, sometimes it takes you...
The emotions.
Yeah, you have to get your second win. I'll get it out.
Wyatt and Tapley quickly goes on him. Under 9 to play here in the first half from Tucson.
Good matchup there with Tapley and Wyatt, 2 guys that are instant offense.
Oh, he carried the ball. There's a turnover. 3rd turnover. And the Aztecs will come the other way.
Reggie, do you have the impression that this game thus far has been played at Temple's pace?
Absolutely, yeah.
So don't think it's good for San Diego State that they haven't shot well. The game's been played at Temple's pace, but they're still ahead.
They haven't shot the ball particularly well. Their 2 main guys offensively, Billy White and Kawhi Leonard, have not gotten off, and you're up 1. If you're Steve Fisher, I'll take that.
Switch on defense. Leonard now goes over Allen. Thomas with the offensive rebound. And the 2. To San Diego State on threes, guys, today, 3 of 4. On 2-point shoot, like right there, 4 of 13. Biggest lead for San Diego State. Temple is led by as many as 2. DeLeo, Gay is on it.
And remember, Fernandez just went out of the game with foul trouble.
Moore, defended by Leonard.
Plenty of time on the shot clock.
It's really good defense, though.
Yeah, but if you're Moore, you got to take Thomas.
Thomas pushes him out. Moore throws it away. Tapley. White. Oh, what a spin move inside. And in transition, the Aztecs drunk.
6'8", 6'9". Billy White making things happen in the open court.
A 7-0 run. The second-seeded San Diego State Aztecs up with their biggest lead so far. One standout on their fast break points, where San Diego State now is 6-0 in that category, and that is their game.
Well, through 13 minutes, I thought Temple had done a great job of establishing the tempo, but it seems like San Diego State is trying to get out. Billy White with 2 of those transition buckets for the Aztecs. That's what they want to do, get out and run early.
Good defense has resulted in tough shots and turnovers. That's why they're able to get out this 7-0 run, all with Juan Fernandez on the bench with those 2 fouls. Fran Dunphy sees the game slipping away, so even with those 2 fouls, Juan Fernandez back in the game. Reggie, I think they got to get LaVoy Allen involved on the inside.
Well, if you can get him going on the inside, because of them doubling down, maybe these shooters can get free for some easy 3 looks.
Fernandez with the miss. Now 1 of 3. Gay, Billy White. Then they set up.
And Billy White can knock down that 3.
Gay slips it into Thomas. So Thomas has got 4. He's hit his last 2. This is the biggest lead for San Diego State. 9-0 run.
And Gay is really having himself a first half. That was a great pass.
Gay's got 2 assists so far. Timeout taken. Temple will talk it over with their largest deficit so far. 6:55 to play in the first in beautiful Tucson. San Diego State up here 23-16. You look at Fernandez, and coming up on the AT&T at the half, scores and highlights, the latest tournament news, and an A. Smith Watch presented by AT&T. That's all coming up on the AT&T at the half. And Fernandez going for the ball. It'll be Temple's ball. Let's talk about Temple now, and they're facing kind of an interesting part of this game. Scooty Randall has just come in, and we'll address that when we come back. As San Diego State leads by 7. The big lead so far in the game that has contained 5 ties and 5 lead changes. Temple right now with their largest deficit here this afternoon. They haven't scored, Dan, in 4.5 minutes from the floor, starting 3 of 5. They've gone 3 of their last 12.
Well, I think you got to credit the San Diego State defense. They've really ratcheted up the pressure, and Temple simply hasn't reacted very well.
Well, not only is San Diego State a +6 from downtown, they're dominating the paint as well. A +8 with points in the paint, and in fast break points, 6 love for San Diego State.
That's really good pressure on the ball. They don't know how much time's on the shot clock.
Fernandez banks it in his second 3 this afternoon.
Are you kidding me?
He's got 6. They also rely a lot on LaVoy Allen. He has started 1 of 6 for Temple.
Now, if that's the kind of shot you're going to rely on, it's going to be a long afternoon for you.
Here's Gay into a couple defenders for Temple. With 6:15 to play in the first half. Foul on San Diego State. It goes on Thomas for the first time.
Well, how big was this shot right here?
Well, he doesn't even realize the time that's left. I think that's more pointing to the shot clock, and he just throws it up there.
Well, at times you just want to give yourself a chance and get it on the glass and maybe get an offensive rebound.
Well, he got it on the board and went right in the basket.
Here comes Moore. And it's picked up by Gay, picked up on the interception by Malcolm Thomas with the steal and the drive. And transition is where this San Diego State team thrives.
And again, you see the big guys from San Diego State. Thomas making a great steal, then taking the ball all the way down the court and actually making a contested layup.
And a points off turnovers, 8-0 lead for the Aztecs.
Oh, Thomas overplaying LaVoy Allen, coming up with that steal. So this is when this San Diego State team is at their best defensively. When they're able to switch, they play tough man-to-man defense, they overplay, they shoot the gaps, and they can finish in transition.
What did Steve Fisher say yesterday? That they were a team, San Diego State, they played back and forth, and all of a sudden they'd get a little spurt and they'd stretch it out. That's what they got. They got a 7-0 spurt, stretched it out.
We just saw Scooty Randall check in for the first time. He had missed some time late in the season, about 7 games with the foot injury. Here is Allen, 1 of 6. Jefferson the rebound. Rejected inside by Thomas, and here comes Leonard the other way.
Look at him handle the ball.
And he's 6'6", and inside with the flush, Billy White. He's got 6. The biggest lead for San Diego State.
Throughout this first half, we've seen all 3 front court players for the Aztec at some point in time handle the basketball in transition in the open court.
There's a whistle. White on the perimeter was defending and picks up the foul for the Aztecs.
This is Leonard's second assist here. First one was to Billy White, and his next one also was to Billy White with a nice finish.
Well, Leonard does a great job handling the ball in the middle of the court, but you got to give some credit to Billy White. He's very active. He gets down the court, gets himself wide open under the basket. He's going to take a breather, and I'll tell you what, Reggie, he earned it.
And finally, Allen comes up with his basket inside after missing so many. He's got 6. He had missed his last 3. Here's Gay, called the most important player on San Diego State by 65-year-old head coach Steve Fisher. Not the best, but the most important player. Carwell, what a backdoor play! Wow. Gay and Carwell comes up with the assist. And Gay with 9. He averages 11. One of the captains on the San Diego State team.
What have we been talking about? The passing ability of San Diego State's big guys, and they can get down the court, too.
It is unraveling for Coach Fran Dunphy and the Owls of Temple.
Judy Randall just lost the basketball at midcourt, really with zero pressure.
Dribbled it off his foot.
Last 14 points for San Diego State have come in the paint, like this authoritative basket here. Court pressure by San Diego State. Hernandez splits it. Wyatt. Tackling on him. And they get it to go through. Khalif Wyatt will get it. He's a sophomore out of Norristown, Pennsylvania. And he's got his first 2. Gay wheels inside. That's a foul called on Temple.
Well, if you want to be successful against San Diego State, you've got to do what you just saw Wyatt do. You can't settle for threes, and you've got to attack these athletes off the dribble at angles. Try to get into the paint, and then hit timely threes when they do collapse.
You see at the top there on CBS, Richmond and Morehead State battling early in the second half. A beautiful stroke from outside. Tapley puts in his second three-point shot this afternoon.
This is an offense that's really rolling right now. I mean, you get really confident on offense. Leonard picks up the foul right there. But all those easy baskets makes you confident on offense, and so the threes start to fall.
So San Diego State, who started 6 of 17, going 8 of their last 10 with an 11-point lead. Greg, I don't know who thought one of those two teams would make the Sweet 16, but Dan, after today, one of those teams will advance to next weekend.
Well, and right at the moment, Richmond looking pretty good. Their Atlantic 10 mate here, Temple, in this game, not looking so hot.
Reggie, in this game, San Diego State is cashing in on easy points, plus 12 in the paint, plus 10 points off turnovers, and plus 12 points on fast break opportunities.
Well, it really looks like they've settled in to a groove here, and really their defense has stepped up and created a lot of those easy opportunities, as you just mentioned.
Here we have Ramon Moore at the free throw line. Danny had 6 points in the first 4 minutes of the game.
Well, he did. He made his first 3 shots. He's only attempted 1 shot since then, and he's had 3 turnovers. And so, Reggie, before the game, we talked about guard play. The Temple guard play hadn't been up to the drill so far.
Well, how about the guard play for San Diego State and DJ Gay?
Yeah, that has been up to the drill.
Who's really struggled, but tonight 9 points, 3 assists, and he's been the one guy that's been able to get anywhere he wants. Now you see this Temple in the 1-3, a 3-2 zone here.
Here's Malcolm Thomas. Harwell was running the doorstep, and Thomas cleans it up again. Oh! He's got 8. And taking advantage inside.
That's just great hands by the big guys, keeping it alive and grabbing it and putting it home.
Well, that's the problem when you go to a zone. You don't have that man-to-man responsibility to block out.
Harwell with the block. Jefferson picked it back up and sticks with it and finds 2. Look at this. DeLeo. Moore. Good fake on Tapley. DeLeo back in. Out there with Allen. Jefferson's on the floor. Moore with it right now. LaVoy Allen working with Carwell outside the lane.
Well, why wouldn't you throw it down to LaVoy Allen against Ryan Carwell? Obviously, he would have the quickness advantage against Carwell.
I think Allen's got to handle the ball a little bit more.
Shot clock at 6. Here is Moore. Leonard's on him. Aaron Brown. Offensive rebound. Dropped by Allen. Approaching 2 to play here in the first half.
You know, it's okay to want to control the tempo a little bit, but you have to be aggressive on the offensive end. They're just dribbling the ball around outside. That allows San Diego State to really get up into it.
Well, Dan, you can control the tempo, but you got to be able to score at the end of it. These are back-to-back possessions when the shot clock has gone down. See if they can get something out of it.
It's Ramon Moore, and yes, they do.
Finally, you talked about Ramon Moore struggling after that 5-minute mark when he had 6 points. Finally gets one to go here late in this first half.
So about the defense that they just played for San Diego State did not appeal to Steve Fisher.
No, I don't think so.
So they call a timeout. 7-point game, late first half from Tucson. And coming up on the AT&T at the half, scores and highlights, the latest tournament news and an A. Smith Watch presented by AT&T. That's all coming up on the AT&T at the half. Kevin Harlan, Dan Bonner, Reggie Miller, Sam Ryan is on our sideline. It doesn't seem like a 7-point game.
Well, Temple has done a good job of not letting this game get away from them. San Diego State got out. We talked about the numbers of fast break points, points in the paint. Defensively, timely buckets, and doing a good job of scoring.
Leonard's out there. Thomas with the screen. The switch on defense. And Leonard finds Allen awaiting. And a travel.
That is
we just talked about the defense.
Well, that's the second traveling violation. He's tapped down inside.
Juan Fernandez comes back in.
Well, he's in here for the offensive possession. He's got to be careful he doesn't pick up that third foul with a charging violation.
And he is as important a player as you're going to find on this Temple team.
He's so smart and he's so good with the ball, and he gets his teammates involved.
You wouldn't worry about Juan Fernandez picking up a 3 foul versus like when we saw Utah State and Ty Wesley when he picked up his third foul.
Leonard is watching Ramon Moore. Less than a minute to play here in the first half.
San Diego State has done a great job keeping these guys out of the lane.
Lavoy Allen. Nice shot. Thomas gave him a little bit of breathing space. And Lavoy Allen, who their coach calls probably the most important single player on this team, now has 8 points. Shelton with the screen. Gay with the 3. Nothing but air. Whistles out of bounds. Gay's at a pretty good scoring first half with 9.
Well, I think it's really dangerous to have Fernandez guarding DJ Gay this late in the half with having 2 personal fouls. Now the shot clock's off, so they can hold it for 1. This would be a big deal for Temple if they could cut it to 3 or even 2.
Fernandez is at 2 threes. Moore, now Wyatt.
This is the time Temple absolutely should get the last shot of this first half.
And they've got some momentum on a 6-0 run. Ramon Moore. 5-point game. It was 11 points moments ago at the Aztecs on top.
Yeah, if you're Wyatt, you got to take the smaller DJ Gay and just shoot over him.
Fumbled around, and that's how our first half comes to a close, but a little run and some hope for Temple.
Well, Reggie said it. The game was getting away from you. Really got to tip your hat to Temple. They got themselves right back in it.
If you're San Diego State, you really have to reestablish that fast-breaking offense that gave you that 10-point lead in the first half.
Temple coming in, winning 13 of their last 15. Let's swing it over to Sam Ryan.
And Coach Fisher, you have the points in the paint, the points off the fast break. How important was it for you to get that tempo going in your favor?
I thought we did a good job. We had a nice spurt that got us some separation, and then they made a long 3 at the buzzer, and we got a little sloppy, turned the ball over, offensive rebound basket. So we had a double-digit lead that's now 5 points. So I thought both teams played hard, and we've got to do that for another 20 minutes.
It is 5 points now as they're trying to slow it down. What do you do to keep up the intensity second half?
Play hard, guard hard, limit them to 1 shot, get good shots at our end.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Sam.
Back to you, Kevin.
San Diego State with Coach Steve Fisher coming off their first tournament win Thursday for the first time in the history of their program down in Southern California. We're going to send you to the AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship on TNT.
Coach, you're able to slow them down a bit going into the half, but what do you need to do to get that tempo back and keep them out of the paint?
You know, I didn't think we defended very well, Sam, to be honest with you, but I think our offense gave them some easy runouts. We panicked a little bit. We misread some open guys, and some guys who weren't so open, we threw it to them. They ran out a couple of times and hurt us in transition. So we slowed them down a little bit, but we certainly have to play a lot better defense in the second half, and our offense has to be more efficient.
What do you have to do offensively? What adjustments to get Moore and Fernandez more involved?
Yeah, I mean, he needs to come off a few more screens, and even with the ball and without the ball too. We got to take him off the ball a few possessions as well. So we don't need to put as much pressure on him as he thinks he needs on himself. So see what happens.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks.
And still we are in the second half here, just seconds in. The winner will go to the Sweet 16. Moore is out there with Wyatt. Boy Allen has it on top and picked up by Malcolm Thomas. Tapley on the switch and Wyatt. And a whistle.
Oh, wow.
The rebound was picked up by Kawhi Leonard. Foul goes on San Diego State. Leonard picks up his second. I'd like to remind you, our game this afternoon here in Tucson is brought to you in HD TV by LG. Life's good.
That was a pushing foul, trying to get the rebound, and that was a point of emphasis for San Diego State at halftime. Rebound the basketball.
Wyatt into Thomas. Tapley's over there. Tied up.
Kevin, that's a couple of times now that Wyatt has taken the ball into lots of trouble and lost it. Wyatt we saw this on Thursday, he's very aggressive offensively, but once he draws the defense, he's got to find open guys.
Let's see if Steve Fisher addressed also at halftime, trying to get the ball and trying to get Kawhi Leonard a little bit more involved offensively. Only 2 points in that first half. He did have 3 assists and 3 rebounds, but this is the Aztecs' leading scorer.
Zone defense here for Temple to start the half.
Gay and Kawhi Leonard over Fernandez. Rebound pulled down by LaVoy Allen. He's got 7.
Great streak down the middle there by Lear Jefferson.
On run Fran Dunphy, you just heard him say they misread some open guys. Maybe they misread that.
Fernandez down the lane. Rebound yanked off by Billy White. He's got 4 boards and kicks it the other way. Now fast break points, 14-0 San Diego State.
Well, that's got to be very frustrating for the Temple coaching staff. Just because Fernandez drives to the basket doesn't mean everybody ought to be standing around watching Billy White run the other way.
How huge is that when your power forward can take the rebound and go coast to coast?
LaVoy Allen inside to Jefferson. And White got him on the shooting hand.
I love interior passing from big to big. LaVoy Allen, look how he looks over the top of the defense here. And Jefferson just does a good job of holding off his man. Good strength going up, takes the contact, puts back in the finish.
Now, part of the problem there is you can't allow LaVoy Allen to have that much time and space to just look in there. They got to put some pressure on him outside.
White picked up his 3rd personal foul. Leonard running again. Here they come. Gay on the fly around Fernandez. Rebound by Thomas.
Oh, how did he miss that?
Jefferson's got the rebound.
A little too hard there, Dan.
Moore into Leonard. Jefferson.
He's not a jump shooter.
Yeah, I like what Moore is doing. He gets into the paint and he kind of collapses that San Diego State defense. But you're going to knock down those shots if you're Jefferson or Allen around that free throw line area.
Here's Tapley on top of the game. He's got 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists so far. Kawhi Leonard.
He's forcing too much.
White. Tapley. In there with the hand, LaVoy Allen. As you take a look at the top of your screen, Butler and top-seeded Pitt are underway. Midway through the first. There's a long 3 nailed by Ramon Moore. And look at Temple. Down moments ago by 11. 13 for Moore. It's a 2-point game. Moore has made 5 of his last 6 shots Thursday coming in. So now he is 10 of his last 12.
See if he can have that type of second half like he had against Penn State. Really put this Temple out on his shoulders and carried him to this 3rd round matchup against the Aztecs.
Thomas a screen for Gay. And Tapley looking for Thomas. And away it goes. Working down that clock. There was 4 seconds out. Take a look at Steve Fisher.
Dan, the longer in the second half this game goes, and Temple is hanging around. You know, the body language from when you're the number 2 seeded team, and all the expectations are on you to advance. It's going to get very interesting in here.
Yeah, Reggie, what did we see in the first half? When it was a half-court, slow-tempo game, advantage Temple. But here, when San Diego State generated turnovers, they got out and got going.
And White, and that was blown with a foul on his way to the rack. Foul will go on Temple. Jefferson picks up his second. Timeout. Double-digit seed is in, and here's a look at what's happened today earlier on CBS. Kentucky advances 16th, Sweet 16 since 1985 in a lineup of 3 freshmen and 3 career role players for John Calipari. See what's happened to the Big East so far.
Yeah, and Kevin, we saw that Florida squad a couple of weeks ago, and we were impressed with them. A veteran team, they could really make some noise as they advance in this tournament.
San Diego State has 1 score the last 7.5 minutes. Temple's on an 11-2 run. Thomas and Gay.
And here now they go back to the man-to-man.
Thomas with a good feed. Leonard, 4 points.
Those guys are great passers on the inside.
Are. The big men, yep, you're right.
I mean, Thomas is number 3 on this team in assists.
Very unselfish ball club.
Well, if you're Temple, you need to stop switching those pick-and-roll situations because Juan Fernandez, there's no way he can guard Thomas down low.
This is where Temple has struggled, is on the offensive end. It's their troubles on offense that have allowed San Diego State to get out and run. That time, though, Wyatt finishes.
Wyatt's got 4.
Well, with the struggles offensively for Juan Fernandez in this game, I think Ramon Moore's done a great job of putting the ball in the basket. I think Wyatt's going to have to be that secondary scorer in this second half for Temple.
Quickly inside. It goes to Billy White, and the assist comes from Malcolm Thomas.
That's a tough matchup for Ramon Moore. And again, a great pass. Good movement by San Diego State.
Temple is shooting 47% for the game. Moore got White up. Thomas, Jefferson broke it up. And here they come again. 3-on-2. Thomas. Gay.
Who was handling the basketball on the break? Your center, Malcolm Thomas.
And he made a great decision on the break to pull it back out.
Jefferson is on Kawhi Leonard. Trouble.
That's the 3rd traveling violation on Kawhi Leonard. And you know something, Reggie, we've talked about Kawhi Leonard struggling on the offensive end, but I think you got to give some credit to Raleigh Jefferson, who has done a really nice job when he's been matched up against Leonard.
Well, Jefferson, Aaron Brown, both of those guys have really frustrated the leading scorer here for San Diego State.
And they've run a couple of guys on him. We've seen Moore on him. We've seen Wyatt on him.
Top your screen on TBS. 8th seed Butler on top of the top seeded Pitt Panthers. 5-4 midway through the first half. Moore and Leonard defends.
Oh, if I'm Ramon Moore, I would just rise up with that arm out there extended by Kawhi Leonard.
Long shot right there, then going by Wyatt, Fernandez, and Moore. Moore's got 13.
See if that left arm is out, just rise up. That's an automatic foul.
And approaching 7 minutes gone here in the second half. Fernandez around Thomas. Shot, another 3. That's put in by Juan Fernandez. And that is his 3rd triple this afternoon.
That was great ball movement.
Tell you what, these guards for Temple, Ramon Moore, Juan Fernandez, they just know how to make big shots.
Thomas goes into White. Knocked away inside by Allen. Now they come with Ramon Moore finding Jefferson. Thomas the rebound.
He was looking at Thomas the whole time. You got to forget about Thomas. You got to lay the ball up there.
You know, we saw this in their matchup with Penn State. Jefferson does not have great hands. And you've got to see the ball into your hands. And you're right. He was looking at the defense all along. Great pass here by Moore. But if you're Jefferson, go up and, as my good friend Bill Walton would say, throw it down, big man. Throw it down.
Yeah, dunk that thing.
Leonard is checked out. Tapley is back in. Malcolm Thomas puts it up and through the transfer from Pepperdine via San Diego City College.
A 4-point turnaround.
Yeah, and there's that interior passing again.
So Ramon Moore has 13 to lead Temple. 10 for Bill White.
Temple keeps getting right to the edge of the top of the mountain. They can't seem to get over it.
Gay defends Fernandez. Rebound by Gay. 4 rebounds and 3 assists so far.
And that's what we thought we'd see Temple do a lot more of. Get Fernandez into the lane and then rise up to shoot the jump shot. But Gay defended pretty well, and now Fernandez commits his 3rd foul.
That is a story for Temple. San Diego State by 3. Fernandez with his 3rd and a timeout in Tucson. Of course, one at the buzzer the other day. As you take a look at some of our numbers, the game summary, and Dan, you were just saying, I want to see San Diego State shift gears like they did back in the first half, and they built some nice runs.
Wow, there's fast break points, and most of those are what are counted up there as points in the paint. San Diego State, with their defense, generated a spurt in the first half. You heard Steve Fisher talking about it with Sam Ryan going out at halftime, and that's the way he said they play. They go back and forth, and then they spurt, and Temple's got to do something to avoid that spurt and keep this game close.
That's when they play their best.
Yep.
Gay gets it off to White. Tapley and Gay for 3. Allen with the rebound. What about Temple?
Well, I'm wondering, when is Temple ever going to get over the hump? They keep getting to the top of the mountaintop. There's a chance to go up by 1 on that Jefferson miss on that layup, which would have been their first bucket in transition. You got to take opportunities, make free throws and easy opportunities if you're going to beat the number 2 seed.
Allen missing across the lane for Temple. Tapley for 3. His 3rd 3-point hit this afternoon. Chase Tapley.
And San Diego State just has a way of making you pay. LaVoy Allen had a close-in shot. He missed it with a long rebound, and they come down. San Diego State does, and they hit a 3. And Temple's got to score here. This is the start of that spurt we were talking about.
Steve Fisher says they like about 3 8-0 spurts in the game, and they keep track of that as Wyatt chisels his way for 2.
I don't think there's any way that Rayhan can stay with Wyatt. Wyatt doing a good job of using that little extra bunny hop getting into the lane.
Tapley again for 3.
Wow.
4 of 5 shooting. San Diego State on top by 7. Their biggest lead this afternoon has been 11 points. Under 10 to play.
And man-to-man.
And Allen right at the doorstep and couldn't get it to go through. Jefferson had the feed. Here comes Billy White the other way. Through traffic. Washed it out of bounds.
How many missed layups are we going to see by Temple?
Well, LaVoy Allen sort of got himself in between steps that time. He had to take that long stride to get to the basket and wasn't really in a position where he could dunk it, and just tossed it off the back of the rim. LaVoy Allen really, to my mind, needs to be more active down on the offensive end, particularly in the post. Get himself open down there. Put some pressure on those big guys for San Diego State.
Fernandez and Moore. Jefferson, Allen. With the ball is Wyatt. Screen by Jefferson. That's the Temple 5. It's the ball knocked away, and he'll go run again. 14 up on fast break points. Thomas, White, Rayhan.
Look up.
Wyatt at the other end. Into Tapley. A foul call on Chase Tapley.
It's a good foul there by Tapley.
He's got 2.
You don't want to give up a layup. Made sure that Wyatt didn't get the and 1.
So the Temple Owls from the Atlantic 10 and at-large berth. Some of their big wins this season over Georgetown and Maryland and Georgia. Get the latest gear for your team at the official store of the NCAA. Find great hoops merchandise at ncaa.com/shop. This Temple team fell out of the AP top 25 3 different times this season. They had their share of injuries. Fran Dunphy is coming off a win, only his second in 14 appearances as a coach, either at Penn or at Temple.
Well, they just got Scooty Randall back for this tournament. They missed Michael Eric, big 7-footer center for them. And yeah, they played well in their tournament. But this is a team that was finding themselves coming into the tournament, but they've gotten some big play from their guards, Ramon Moore and Juan Fernandez.
Runner's back in. And he finds Billy White working on Jefferson. Gay by DeLeo. Jefferson the rebound. He's collected 9.
Well, here we go again. They were down 5 at halftime. This is a chance to close the gap a little bit.
8.5 to play.
Gotta shoot that.
Allen. And to sneak it inside. DeLeo finally got it. The clock grows dead here at 8:20 to play in the second half. And Rayhan picks up his first personal.
Well, I think Fran Duffy's inability to play Scooty Randall is letting you know he's a little bit more hurt or out of shape than we think. Because I really think offensively he can give them a little bit of a shot in the arm off the bench.
Moore missing the 3. He only played 6 minutes the other afternoon after missing 7 games.
Interesting little play. Now Temple's got to dig in here. They've got to get some stops. Their offense hasn't been really efficient. They need some defensive work.
Way to sell it, Juan. That is exactly how you.
Malcolm Thomas picks up his second personal. 5-point game, under 8 to play in Tucson. Leon bringing us back to the 7:52 mark of the second half. A 5-point San Diego State lead. First half they led by 11. In the second half, Temple has only shot 5 of 15 from the field.
Kevin, and they've missed some easy opportunities, and it's been Temple's struggles on offense that has allowed San Diego State to get out in their transition game. So Temple needs to be more efficient on the offensive end. I think they've got to look inside for Lavoy Allen.
Moore is the only player for Temple in double figures with 13. And feeding here to Jefferson.
San Diego State plus 12 points in the paint, plus 5 points off turnover, and plus 14 in fast break points. But yet, you're only up 5, and your best player, Kawhi Leonard, 2 of 7, only 4 points.
They've got 3 in double figures. Look at that play. Acrobatic move inside. Moore couldn't get it to go.
Another layup.
Leonard. Billy White digs it out and puts it back in. 7-point lead for the second-seeded Aztecs.
Well, not only did Temple miss a shot close to the basket, it was a tough shot, but they had 4 guys going for the rebound, and that allowed San Diego State to get out in transition.
White's got 12 points and 9 rebounds.
4-point swing again for San Diego State. Miss a point-blank layup at one end. Aztecs in transition.
Here is Fernandez leaning. And out of bounds. 9 seconds on the shot clock. And look at what Butler is doing with under 5 to play in the first half over the top seed Pitt Panthers.
Matt Howard playing fantastic for the Butler Bulldogs. Game winner on Thursday.
6 to shoot for Fernandez. Rebound by Leonard. Fernandez has gone 3 of 9 with 9. Interesting part of the game.
Well, now this is where San Diego State, because of this 7-point advantage here, can run some clock. Well, when Fran Duffy and his Temple Owls go back and take a look at this, all the missed opportunities that Jefferson, Allen, Ramon Moore have had point-blank layups.
Wyatt just picked up his second personal foul. There goes Fernandez to the bench. DeLeo is back in. 30 seconds on the shot clock. So here's Leonard.
How about Billy White tonight? 12 points, 9 rebounds. Coming off that 12 points, 13 rebounds against Northern Colorado.
Leonard with another miss. 2 of 8. Temple the other way. They have missed 6 consecutive shots. DeLeo. Gay was on him. Jefferson. More. Much needed.
Nice off the dribble move there by Ramon Moore.
He's got 15.
Even the one constant offensive threat here for the Temple Owls.
Short timeout taken. 5:39 to play. We are in the second half in Tucson. Moore has been a scoring threat today. 15 points for Temple. One of the ways Temple thought they could slow down San Diego State this afternoon, Dan, was hit their shots, especially ones close in.
Well, and here in the second half, they've certainly had some opportunities that they have missed, Kevin. Here, this was a shot to take the lead, but Jefferson missed it. And then this was a shot that LaVoy Allen, coming down the lane, just got in between hops and missed that. Here they get a shot and a tip and don't get it. And San Diego State went down and turned that one into a basket. So Temple's had some opportunities, but they just haven't been able to convert.
Gay, Thomas, and White. Leonard along with Kepley, the 5 out there for the Aztecs. 5.5 to play and a turnover.
Well, I don't know where Thomas was throwing that one, but he hit DeLeo in the back right between the 2 ones.
And DeLeo out there with Allen. White. Moore.
He missed more there off that curl screen right there with Leonard trailing him. I thought he could have a pretty clean look.
Jefferson set a screen. Little Leonard there. Allen with a big-time rebound. A fresh shot clock, and Moore will take it. Inside again. Can they get this to go with Jefferson? Backed away by Thomas. Shot clock continues to go. Retrieved by the Owls.
Your friend Duffy, you have to think about getting Juan Fernandez maybe back in this ball game.
Moore slithering. DeLeo inside. Allen a long 2. He's got 10.
Now the lead is cut to 3 here.
And Temple is hanging around. They're just hanging around. San Diego State hasn't been able to get that spurt here in the second half.
Well, this is when your best player steps up. And Kawhi Leonard has been very quiet all day.
Here is Gay. Jefferson is on it.
And that means DeLeo's on White. Wow.
Another turnover. 2 in a row. And here we go. I guess that was a shot. Here comes Moore into DeLeo.
Too hard. And you can't be this fancy this late in the game. Make the simple play.
Now, why would you throw the ball to DeLeo going down into the lane with all the white shirts standing in there? There's no reason to make that pass. Do you understand what Moore's trying to do? He's trying to be aggressive.
No, Moore needs to take the basketball to the hole.
Well, there you go. That's a different way to be aggressive.
If you're the man, be the man.
I don't know if that was a shot or a turnover before, but he was trying to
lob it up to White
in the alley-oop. Gay can't hit. Thomas got it. DeLeo and him got tangled up. And DeLeo will pick up the foul, and that is his first. Tightening up here in Tucson. 3-point game on TNT. All right, Greg, thank you very much. Here, San Diego State is on top by 3. They've led by 11, and Temple has slowed this game down. Steve Fisher told us, as we mentioned before, with the defense as our catalyst, we want to get this thing as a speed game.
Well, and Temple has taken better care of the basketball, and they've taken better shots. As we showed you before, they've missed some easy opportunities, but they haven't allowed San Diego State those run-out baskets. It's tough to play this Temple team 5-on-5 on the offensive end. They're pretty good defensively.
They got hit in the eye. Here's White. Leonard has been struggling with his game today and continues in that vein.
Well, that is great block out by Temple. San Diego State, Reggie, one of the top offensive rebounding teams in the country. No white shirts around that one.
All right, guys. Well, we talked about the tempo and the pace. Yes, it's to Temple's favor, but if you can't score at the offensive end, what good is it?
Right. Fernandez back in. As you can see, he's working on game. Fernandez with a little bit of foul trouble with 3. Allen. Fernandez. White. 10 rebounds. He's got a double-double.
You know, if I'm Fran Duffy, I would just run a simple UCLA cut with Juan Fernandez and then let him post up against DJ Gay.
Here's Thomas and Jeff Leonard, by the way, 2 of 9. He leads them in scoring at 15 points a game. But this afternoon, he has been struggling with just 4. Leonard, shot clock at 4. Over Fernandez. Finally, he rattles one in.
Your big-time players have to make big-time plays in tough situations, and that was one.
And he also recognized that he had the smaller Juan Fernandez on him, and he knew he could get his shot off over him.
Under 2. Moore. And that is a 3. And a big shot put down by Khalif Wyatt. He's got 11.
Well, we talked about Ramon Moore being the offensive juggernaut for this Temple team, but Wyatt had to be the second option.
Temple, like you said, Reggie, has not been able to get over that hump after trailing by 11. They're down by 2. You look at our game reset, 1:47 to play in the game.
Well, big shot by Wyatt, but now for San Diego State, Leonard just hit a basket. Hopefully this can get his rhythm going a little bit if you're Steve Fisher, to see if you can go back to Kawhi Leonard.
Well, and get him something going to the basket. San Diego State has only been to the free throw line twice today. Only 2 free throw attempts. They've made them both. I think he's got to get something going to the goal.
Leonard and White, Gay, Tapley, Thomas. San Diego State's 5 on the floor. Gay, clock down to 125.
And you saw in our summary, not many fouls. Each team can be aggressive.
Gay. Billy White. DJ Gay. Smothered. Scoops. Picked up by Fernandez. Here comes Temple with a chance to tie or take the lead. Approaching a minute to play.
Wonderful defensive possession there by the Temple Loud.
Now, Reggie, let's see if they can score.
This is Moore. Allen for the tie! It's a 9-2 run by the Owls.
Now, if you're Steve Fisher, you call a timeout to settle down your troops and try to get a good shot. And that's exactly what the veteran coach does. Understanding his team's offense has been out of sync in this second half.
Nice play right here for the tie. Lavoy Allen. Owls coach Fran Dunphy told us that Lavoy Allen has been a key for his team. He said we wouldn't even be here without him. He just tied the game with a nice shot inside.
Well, that was a big shot, obviously, Kevin. Now he's got to anchor that defense, because I think if you're San Diego State, you got to take the ball to the basket, try to get an easy one or get fouled, and then just go after the offensive board.
Well, if you're smart in Temple, when they do go to the basket, I think you can bait some of these guys into an offensive foul.
And remember, Temple has 2 fouls to give.
Shot clock at 15. Billy White. Right on the doorstep. Out of bounds. San Diego State's ball.
It looked like that ball went off the jersey or the head of Waleer Jefferson.
You're right, Reggie. He fell down and the ball hit him while he was sitting out of bounds. Now, Kevin, San Diego State, the shot clock is off. They can hold the ball for the last shot.
Here it is, moments ago, off of Temple. With a chance to go to the Sweet 16, 25 seconds left in regulation. San Diego State's ball. We're tied at 54.
Well, I like what Steve Fisher did on the possession before this, putting the ball in Billy White's hand. This is one guy that has the height advantage, can get his shot off quickly if he goes for the last shot, but you've got to go for the last shot here.
And Temple has 2 fouls to give.
DJ Gay.
You don't want to foul anybody in the shot motion, but you can foul somebody if they're driving to the basket. They can take the ball out of bounds. Fouling.
Gay Hand check, Temple foul. 4 seconds left.
Well, if you're Fran Duffy, you couldn't have played that possession any better.
But now that's 5 team fouls. They still have a foul to give.
3 fouls on Wyatt.
Now here's the question, Dan. Do you give it?
Timeout.
Because to me, you've got to play.
You got to play
good defense.
But if somebody's driving to the basket, Reggie, before he's in the shooting motion, you give the foul.
Timeout.
Now this 54-54, this presents a very interesting situation. There's 4 seconds left in the game. Temple with only 5 team fouls, so they still have another foul to give. If they commit a non-shooting foul, then they still don't get to go to the line. So, Reggie, I think in this situation, if San Diego State starts to drive the ball to the basket, then Temple should foul, but the Owls have to be careful. They don't want to commit a foul and sort of telegraph and allow the guy to get in his shooting motion before they do.
Not in the act of shooting. Now, how good and how smart are the Temple players to make sure that no one's in the act of shooting for San Diego State? This is a chance here with 4 seconds on the clock. The fastest player for San Diego State is DJ Gay. Let's see if he can get the basketball and see if he can get to the basket.
They're not going to let him get to the basket.
Tapley will inbound. Fernandez in front. Thomas. Tapley for the lead. Overtime. 9-2 Temple run over the last 7+ minutes sends this game to OT. At 54.
Tapley got what he wanted. A pump fake here, and little runner right off the lip of the rim.
San Diego State's going to go to their first overtime game this season. Temple is 1-0 in overtime games this year.
Now, Kevin, this is really interesting. The ball goes to Tapley. Right there, they try to give the foul, but he gets by. The shot hits off the rim. Time to tip it, but as soon as Leonard catches the ball, the clock expires.
Well, they try to come up with the foul right here, but if you're Leonard, when the ball's coming up, you got to, instead of rebounding it, you've got to try to tip it in. Keep the ball alive on the rim.
But you notice as Temple tried to give the foul, the referee didn't call it right away, so he took his hand back because he didn't want to get the guy shooting and have the foul called. I think that was well refereed. I think it was well played by both teams.
There was about 0.4 of a second left when that ball hit the rim. So here we go in overtime. Gay and Leonard, along with Thomas, Tapley, and Billy White. White has got the double-double for the Aztecs this afternoon.
I really would like to see Kawhi Leonard take over this overtime. Only 3 of 10, 6 points. And for Temple, Ramon Moore or Wyatt, who's been fantastic here in this second half for the Owls.
This is the first overtime game in this year's NCAA men's basketball tournament. Outbalanced DJ Gay with the rebound pulled down by Ramon Moore.
We have numbers.
Fernandez puts it in. That's a 3 by Juan Fernandez.
Reggie, that may be their first basket in transition today. Don't you think Leonard's got to get down inside and post Fernandez up?
Here's Leonard.
Okay, maybe not.
Knocks it in.
And you know what?
No, just
that's Lavoy Allen. When the switch occurs, you've got to stay on Kawhi Leonard. Let's see now how San Diego State plays from behind. They've been up just about this whole game.
Right, they've been pretty good defensively the entire game.
I'm going to pass on just a correction. This is the second overtime game. We're given a bad bit of info, and it is the second overtime game of this tournament as Fernandez will take it in.
5 good points here in this overtime for Juan Fernandez, who's guarding the best player in Kawhi Leonard for San Diego State.
Remember what we said about your big guys making big-time plays? Fernandez has stepped up.
That's a foul more on the perimeter.
Now still, they had that foul to give. They're not going to shoot yet. That's only foul number 6.
Juan Fernandez knocked down the 3 in transition, and here on the high pick and roll, just does a good job of using his body and using the glass.
You know, Thomas tracked him the whole way, but he never really was very aggressive.
Fernandez with 14 of the game winner Thursday in round 2.
Right, Fernandez here taking the challenge of guarding the bigger and stronger Leonard.
And Leonard shooting the ball.
And Fernandez is defending.
Got to be careful he doesn't get away with the offensive foul by smacking the hand of Fernandez off. But I like the aggressive nature here by Kawhi Leonard.
Juan Fernandez picks up his 4th personal foul. Here is Leonard at the free throw line.
This is only the 3rd free throw attempt, Kevin, by San Diego State today.
And Temple has tried 9 free throws. They're 7 of 9 from the stripe.
Leonard on the season, 75% free throw shooter.
Leonard not heavily recruited by many schools. No Pac-10 school showed any interest. He was the high school player of the year in the city of Los Angeles.
Violation.
There was a violation on the play. They'll get one more.
I think they got Juan Fernandez, and he better be careful. I don't want to argue that call too strenuously with the officials.
What a huge call.
Well,
instead of going down, if he makes this, instead of being up 2 with possession, now Leonard knocks this down. You're down 1.
And understand them trying to get in quickly to get Billy White out of there.
And Malcolm Thomas.
Leonard with 10. Temple by 1.
Man for San Diego State.
Well, if you're going to run all this time off the clock, you got to be sure you get a quality look at the end of it.
And you got to be careful you don't get an offensive foul for an illegal screen here right at the end of the clock.
Moore, 6 of 10. Rebounded by Leonard.
Strong move there.
Oh, and it was picked up. Wyatt Moore.
Wyatt has been fantastic here in this second half for Temple.
What a huge play. How did he get that ball?
Approaching 2 to play in overtime.
Keep in mind, Fernandez has 4 fouls.
Malcolm Thomas. Into Lavoy Allen with a good spinner. And a free throw can tie it.
You cannot let Malcolm Thomas get to that left shoulder. That's
a very good play, but it's difficult. Fernandez worried about coming down to help because he's got those 4 fouls. And what a great job by Thomas to just go right up through the arms of Lavoy Allen.
Well, I tell you what a game this has been really from both sides. Fran Duffy trying to slow the tempo down and the pace.
Thomas with his first free throws this afternoon. A 12.7 rebound performance. That'll tie it with 2 left in overtime.
Well, Kevin, they have taken more free throws, have the Aztecs, in this overtime than they did in the entire game. They're finally taking the ball inside aggressively. They've got an advantage in there.
If you're Temple, you got to continue to attack the basket. I thought even though Moore missed that shot, he did a good job of getting into the lane.
Hernandez, Allen with the screen. Shot clock at 8. Leonard. His 3rd personal foul for the Aztecs. And check out the Powerade Ion 4-point performance ranking system to get a peek into the science behind tournament success. See where your team ranks at ncaa.com/Powerade.
That was only the 6th team foul on San Diego State, so good aggressive defense there. Now the next foul will result in shots.
You'll be surprised here at the end of this. Wyatt taking the smaller DJ Gay.
Hernandez from 16.
Good call.
Temple's ball.
Good call there.
106 in overtime.
Both of these teams going to the glass hard. Looks like that ball went off Leonard.
Yeah, Leonard and White just fighting one another for the ball, and you can't blame them. That's what you got to do. You got to go get it.
The 7-seed Temple Owls pushing the 2-seed San Diego State. A magical season they've had. 33-2 San Diego State. Temple 26-7 out of the Atlantic 10.
I'm quite sure that Leonard can stay with Ramon Moore, especially if he starts to dance with the basketball this far away from the basket.
Well, he's got White and Thomas on the inside to help him out.
Well, if you're White, you can help off of Jefferson.
Leonard is on Moore. Here comes Allen. Shot clock at 5. Fernandez. And picked up by White with yet another rebound. 11 he's collected today.
And you can hold it for the last shot if you so choose.
And a timeout taken by San Diego State. 27.7 in overtime. Tied at 61. The hero in game 1 for Temple, Juan Fernandez, couldn't hit the shot. And so now 27.7 left.
A really tough defense by San Diego State gives them this opportunity. Unlike at the end of regulation, they can hold it for the last shot. Temple doesn't have any fouls to give.
Kawhi Leonard has to take this last shot.
And don't you think he's got to take it going to the basket?
Well, just a couple dribbles and rise up. He doesn't have to get all the way to the rim.
DJ Gay. Malcolm Thomas. Thomas. We're going to our second overtime.
Oh, this is beautiful. When they talk about March Madness.
How about that lane violation on Leonard's free throw, huh? Malcolm Thomas had a chance to give his team the lead and maybe the game. So number 2 seed San Diego State to its second overtime. Temple Owls are down by 11 points in the first half, chiseling away at that lead of San Diego State. Tying him multiple times. We're in the midst of our 7th tie right now. We've had 6 lead changes. We go to our second overtime after the Aztecs, the 2 seed. The Aztecs hadn't even played an overtime game this season. Now they're in their second game of the tournament.
And Kevin, keep in mind that they had the last shot at the end of regulation and couldn't get it to go, and the last shot at the end of the first overtime and couldn't get it to go.
Well, something to watch for Temple. Juan Fernandez, 4 fouls. He's got to be very careful here that he doesn't pick up a cheap foul, especially guarding DJ Gay.
Temple in the man-to-man.
Leonard inside, carving his way, can't get it to go. Another close and miss with the rebound pulled down by Jefferson. Moore racing the other way for the Owls.
Allen, Jefferson for Temple, and DJ Gay for San Diego State have played every minute of this game.
Again, I'm still not understanding why they're not exploring the size of DJ Gay, especially with Khalif Wyatt. This is the guy that can get to the basket and finish.
Jefferson with the shot clock down to 5. Now Moore, picked up by Leonard. Lavoy Allen. Leonard with another rebound. And he's collected 7. A minute gone in our second overtime.
Now, you can't lose your aggressiveness on the offensive end. You want to be careful, you want to get a good shot, but you have to attack.
It's been a while since we've heard from Tapley. He knocked down those back-to-back 3-pointers early on in this first half.
He's got 4 threes for the game. Right, Moore was defending Kawhi Leonard. And Ramon Moore, looks like he'll pick up the foul. That is his 3rd, which will put Leonard at the free throw line for the Aztecs of San Diego State.
Well, Moore did a good job of making sure Leonard spin back, but he didn't need to foul him on the wrist. You did your job by making him turn the basketball and turn his body around. Then you just contest the shot.
Yeah, just put your hand up. Don't try to block it.
As a team, San Diego State 5 of 5 from the free throw line.
And this is the most aggressive I've seen Kawhi Leonard here in both of these overtimes. Really asking for the basketball, making definitive moves at the offensive end.
Here comes Fernandez. He's got 4 fouls. Jefferson, Wyatt, Lavoy Allen. Jefferson back to Allen. Oh, in a two-man game, and we go back on top.
Temple is running too much time off the clock here.
Wyatt for three. Thomas the rebound.
And settling for bad shots at the end of it. If you're going to run that much time off the clock, you got to get a quality look at the end of it.
Well, now Temple's got to dig in on the defensive end. I think that the way the pace of this game is going, you really don't want to get down by 2 scores.
Thomas a screen. He's slithering inside. Put back up and in. White, 14 points. Huge game. 12 rebounds for him. We go to the other end, and Temple with 13 from Wyatt. And a 2-point game, and 2:38 in overtime, number 2. Temple's got a single timeout. Aztecs have 2 here in Tucson. Temple just got a score. Here's a pass to Fernandez, and a wide pass over his head and out of bounds.
How about Fran Duffy and the pressure right after that timeout causing the turnover, and I don't think it was touched.
No, it wasn't touched, so Temple have it out under the basket.
But what a play out of a timeout.
Yeah, San Diego State didn't handle that very well.
It's Wyatt, rejected by Thomas.
See, that's one of the reasons why they can't do that. And if Lavoy Allen is going to stand at the free throw line and allow Thomas to come down there and double team, he can do it every time. Lavoy Allen has to get closer to the basket in an open position so that Thomas can't come and do that.
Here's more. The reverse screen right there by Allen, who will have to pick and pop.
That's not his game.
He can make that shot, but I don't know how well he can make that shot after he's played almost 50 minutes of basketball.
Allen 5 of 14. San Diego State will take a timeout. In our second overtime, the clock at 2:14. Each team with 1 timeout remaining. San Diego State just inbounds the ball. Gay finding Billy White. He got in tight. And the 2 seed with a 4-point lead.
Temple's got to play with a little bit more urgency right at the moment.
Been too cautious here. Running too much time off the clock and getting poor shots at the end of it.
Fernandez snakes his way inside. Picked up by Thomas. Picked up by Wyatt. And a foul on the Aztecs.
How huge would have been if Wyatt could have got the and one, but Fernandez made that shot more difficult than it had to be.
Thomas just picked up his 3rd.
San Diego State doing a nice defensive job there. Billy White coming over, forcing him to change the shot, and Wyatt really, I mean, that's twice now that he's stolen the ball. Last time he made a basket, now he's got 2 free throws.
Leaf Wyatt, very fine starts this season. Been so important off the bench. He was the Atlantic 10 Conference 6th Man of the Year. Sophomore, 2 of 3 from the line tonight.
Again, if you are going to upset the number 2 team, you've got to do all the little things. And you've got to make free throws, and you've got to make the little plays. You can't make things difficult on yourselves.
There's plenty of time left. Temple's looking for a stop right here, and San Diego State has done a nice job the last few possessions taking the ball inside. Last time to White, before that to Leonard. They've been able to get good looks on the inside, or they've been able to get to the free throw line, and I think that's what you're seeing them try to do again.
Fernandez has 4 fouls. Got to be very careful here.
Here's Thomas, and the shot clock now down to 7.
They're looking for White inside. Now they're going to see what Leonard can do.
Leonard for 3. Nothing but air. Jefferson's got the ball. Approaching a minute to play, and Temple's down by 3.
They got to come now. They can't take a lot of time.
They got to go.
Fernandez. Allen. Juan Fernandez. Here comes Moore, Jefferson, and Allen. Rejected by Thomas. What a big-time defensive play. 4 block shots. Timeout, San Diego State burning their last one. Thomas has come up big. He is a one-man wrecking crew inside for the Aztecs. San Diego State just inbounded the ball. And a quick foul in the second overtime. Temple has gone 1 of 7 from the floor. We've had 2 gigantic block shots by Thomas. Moore just picked up the Owl foul.
And why do you foul? There was 8-second differential. Play good defense. If you come up with the rebound, you still have 7 seconds or less to try to get a 3 off. Now you foul and you put Leonard, who's shooting 75% from the free throw line on the season, at the line.
And 5 of 5 now tonight from the stripe.
Well, we said a couple of times during the second half that San Diego State needed to get to the free throw line in the entire game. The regulation game, they only were at the line twice, and they've really done a nice job getting to the free throw line and converting in this overtime period. In these overtime periods.
Leonard knocks down a couple of beauties. He's got 14. He averages 15 a game.
You got to really move now.
Ramon Moore pickpocketed. This will slam the door. Fernandez, another rejection inside. This time authored by White. That's it. Number 2 will advance. San Diego State is going to the Sweet 16. And a terrific effort by the 7th seed Temple Owls. Tune in to CBS and TBS Now for live third-round games coming up on TNT. It's Wisconsin and Kansas State. We're going to send you to New York in our studios there after these messages.